Welcome, Spencer. Thank you so much for coming. Oh my goodness, you've done so much work as far as research on the whole Bitcoin area. I was wondering what your takeaways are as far as you've obviously got a better overview than most of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, it's working. So that's the number one thing. I mean, exactly when we started out, 8 years ago. I mean, I wasn't even watching Bitcoin yet. I started probably paying attention maybe 4 years ago, and have just gone deeper down the rabbit hole ever since. And I think the biggest miracle is just that it's working so far. And I think that really a lot of the growth is underestimated among the venture community.
And I know that the Silicon Valley investors have been slow to the party as far as investing, and it's so wonderful that blockchain capital is here as one of those pathfinder investors. But I was wondering why you see that Silicon Valley has been a bit slow in investing in Bitcoin and blockchain companies.
Yeah, I'd say that Silicon Valley overall has been particularly slow recently. And so there was kind of an initial burst in this initial spate of funding, and we actually hit $1 billion of venture capital invested into the broader blockchain ecosystem, probably relatively evenly split between Bitcoin specific and kind of non-Bitcoin blockchain applications. And we've hit a bit of a dearth over maybe the past 18 months or so, maybe 12 months. Really because there haven't been any giant winners yet. So we need to see a big IPO, we need to see a gigantic acquisitions, there have been a few smaller ones, to really get the venture community re-enthused into the technology. But in the meantime, we love it when it's not a super hot space, and it gives us a better chance to get better valuations and everything else.
And I have to say, running these talks since last year, I love the FinTech ecosystem. It's everyone is much more supportive and helpful, and is more like a community. The way it used to be when I first came in the ordinary startup ecosystem 7 years ago. So there's definitely pluses about that sort of pioneering sort of spirit instead of the tourist entrepreneur now that occurs in University Avenue in Palo Alto.
Absolutely, and some of the hyper competitiveness that you see in some industries. I mean, especially within Bitcoin. I mean, I think that for most of us that are in it, we look at it and we say, look, this pie is going to be a lot bigger in 5 years, and so there's no need to fight over the little crumbs that we have right now. Let's be friends. We're better off, stronger together. Before I was in the ETF industry, before I was doing Bitcoin, I was in the ETF industry, and it was a very similar type of mentality of, this is an industry that's overall growing leaps and bounds. You see lots of assets flowing from traditional mutual funds into ETFs. Let's all try and work together to make sure that we have a similar messaging pattern instead of attacking each other's strategies, which just kind of divides the whole community.
And I love community, so I just feel really right at home with this FinTech community. So tell me, what do you think are the challenges really as far as Bitcoin goes and the blockchain that we're facing at the moment?
There's a lot of challenges. I definitely want to be, very upfront about that part. We don't really know exactly where the technology is going to work, which is particularly why we have a kind of a seed bias, and that it allows us to make lots of bets across lots of different industries, sectors, applications, and then as time goes on, we can kind of double down on our winners as they go and they do their Series B and their Series C, and we can kind of cut our losers. So, yeah, so it's nice to have a good diversified strategy to figure out where this technology is really going to take root.
Fantastic. Well, look, thank you again for coming, and I think it's going to be a fabulous panel. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.